Welcome guys, in this video we're going to take a look at the basics of threading. Threading is nice because it allows us to, for example, split a program into different threads, and then one thread runs in the background, there's another thread, for example, makes the user interface work, and so alright, of course it's somewhat tricky to implement, so let's take a look at a simple example. So make up Visual Studio, make a project, and let's type here using system, and now using system.threading. Now what we're going to say here is namespace, of course, sample. And now we're going to say as program, and then you'll say here public static void, and then you'll say worker. Okay, so this would be a thread, this worker here, okay? Remember, that's a public method, the static stays in memory. In other words, you just need a class, you don't need an object, and then void doesn't return anything, and the name of it is worker. Okay, so it's just going to run, doing some task, right, and a thread. So here, you're going to say now the following: define its body. For inti equals 0i is less than or equal to 10i plus plus. And now you're going to say here console.writeLine, and then you'll print the value of I like that. Oops. And if it happens that I has the value 5, we'll put this thread to sleep for some units of time. So you can do that by typing the following. Let me just delete this code from down below. And we'll say here console.writeLine, and then you'll say thread dot and get domain. That means specifically the app domain. See that? It returns the current domain in which the current thread is running. So get domain. Like that, and now you'll say here thread.sleep, and then we'll sleep it for 5,000 milliseconds. Now a millisecond, remember, is 1/1000th of a second, like this. So if you multiply that by 5,000, that's like 5,000 divided by 1,000, which is 5. So 5 seconds. Alright, so 5 seconds. I'll sleep for. Alright, you can do it for longer than that, obviously, if you want to exaggerate the effect. Alright, so now it's outside public side void worker. We're going to say so static void main, like that, open close braces. And now we're going to make use of it as follows. So I'm going to make a new thread, okay, give it the name new thread, that'll do, and then new thread, and then new thread start, that's what I meant to say, like that, and then program.worker. Okay, so that worker becomes a new thread, that method that we've created. We're going to give this thread a name so it's easy to identify. New thread.name equals hard worker thread. Okay, close that with a semicolon, of course. Then you'll say here new thread that starts, you're going to start it. Then you'll say new thread.join. So the join will have the effect of blocking main. In other words, once we start the worker thread will go through its complete cycle, and then it will be joined back to main, so the main will then resume working. Okay, you'll see more vividly what I mean in a second. Console.writeLine. In other words, calling join blocks the calling thread. The calling thread is the main one, so this will block it until worker completes, and then it will join back to main and then resume main. And now we're going to say here we're back in main, like that, close out the semicolon, and then console.read key, close with a semicolon. Let's delete that. Right, so here's our program. That's the body of it. Alright, and remember, make sure you have those namespaces, the threading namespace. And if you want here, of course, you can place these on a single line. Right, that's not really that important. See? Alright, so give it a build, make sure it takes. Okay, so first, let's give this a quick go with just start. Okay, so it goes into worker runs, it goes to sleep, right? And then it resumes until it goes up to 10, and then it says we're back in main. So that confirms that it returns to main. Alright, now if we remove new thread.join, take a look, right? In other words, if you don't block main, look at what will happen here when you hit start. See, we're back in main, shows up first, right? Then the worker finishes up. You see that? That's very likely not the sequence that you want. So to block the calling thread, meaning main, until the worker thread completes, uncomment.code, okay, like that, and then run the worker thread. Now, one more thing to show you: set a breakpoint somewhere like this, okay, and then go debug and say start debugging. Okay. If you go to debug in Windows and select threads, you see this is going to show you the threads. A lot of these are there, don't worry about them, but see, the thing that concerns us is the main thread, and as you can see, it looks like this, okay? And expand this a little more. Okay, there's a little yellow, see that? Okay, and now there's the worker thread. It's got two little gears next to it, and it says hard worker thread. So that's the name of it. Okay, that confirms these really are different threads. And then if you do this, give it a sec. There you go. So now this confirms. Notice that the worker thread has basically been removed. Right, it's no longer present here. The name is gone. And then the main, as you can see, however, is still in memory. And now it says we're back in main. That's it. Okay, so let's unload that. There you go. So you've learned how to use the thread window and how you can really split a program up into different threads, run the threads, and you've learned also how to start a thread, how to join a thread, and also how to name a thread. Okay, and you think of a thread as basically a chunk of separate processing that a program can perform. Alright, and that is it. So thanks very much, and I'll see you in another video.